chill.
Hello there, gang, and welcome to another episode of Displaying-Model-Behaviour, the Earth's mightiest action figure video podcast. So take off your pants, crack a beer, let's talk toys, let's talk about the nerdy news that you need to know about. It's the only news that matters, it's good news. And on today's show, Wolverine is not the best at what he does, Cyberpunk is back on form, and you can experience the horror of a day at IKEA. But as you know, here at Model Behaviour, action figures always come first.
Or sometimes not at all.
So let's talk about them. First up, Hasbro have released their full lineup for their PulseCon event. So this is the 2-day Hasbro Showcase event, which takes place on September 30th and October 1st. And they are going to be revealing a whole bunch of stuff. Probably. I mean, there's never actually guarantee as to what they're going to do, but revealing stuff, that's pretty much a safe bet. I'll be furious if they don't. I want more things to spend my money on, because I suddenly have £350 that was earmarked for something that's not going to be spent. So we better find a new home for it, hadn't we? I'm sure Hasbro can help out with that. They've got the Transformers kicking things off. Then after that, they've got the Power Rangers. I don't know why I'm reading these off. I'm showing them to you. There you go. That's the lineup. Really, it's pretty much just Marvel that really catches my eye on the first day. Fortnite, there might be some fun little designs, always stuff that I can pick up on the clearance rack. Starting lineup, nope. I don't do sport. Not for $50 a piece as well. Am I right or am I right? Get out of here. Power Rangers, a buddy of mine, friend of the show, just sent me some pictures of some of the Power Rangers monsters that he put a wash on. And oh my giddy lord, they look incredible. Man, the difference a bit of extra paint can make. And of course, they do kick things off with Transformers. There you go, I just rattled off everything anyway. Transformers, I love the franchise, but I'm not a fan of the figures. But I'm sure there'll be some good stuff in there for folks. And on the second day, I guess we are going through this now. Well done, Dave. Second day is G.I. Joe. That's one I'm always going to be excited to see. G.I. Joe, I feel a sense of relaxation with G.I. Joe for me, because I don't have to get everything. No one has a gun to my head, but I can actually see the figures and go, that's a nice one. I might pick that one up. That one, maybe not. And that's actually a nice, relaxed thing. Whereas often with Marvel Legends, I'm like, oh God, what am I going to spend my money on now? So I'm going to dig the G.I. Joe panel. Then Avalon Hill. Don't even know what that is. Magic the Gathering. Card game nerds. And then after that, Indiana Jones. This is going to be interesting. I'm excited to see what an Indiana Jones Hasbro line is going to look like. That's what it's going to be doing. So yeah, that's going to be kind of cool, seeing the Indiana Jones setup revealed. I've got high hopes for that. And then finally, Star Wars Black Series. There doesn't seem to be much buzz for Star Wars Black Series at the moment. No one's really feeling much hype, but I say that on behalf of everyone in the action figure community. You're welcome. I'll tell you what you're thinking. I'll full Vince McMahon this. You don't like what you like. You like what I tell you like. So yeah, it's going to be a fun couple of days. Let's see what Hasbro have got for us. Speaking of Hasbro, which we're going to be doing a lot of, they have also revealed as part of their Target, the 2022 Fall Target Geek Out event, they have shown images of their Dungeons and Dragons figures from the 80s TV show. I grew up with this as a kid. I can still hear the theme in my head. You can have that earworm going on for the rest of the day as well. You're welcome. So these figures, we've only just got these random, just little shots right there. I mean, these haven't been revealed elsewhere, have they? It's really weird. They'd normally have a big reveal, but it's just they've Columboed it. They're like, oh yeah, just one more thing. There's some Dungeons and Dragons figures. Wait, what? So guys, please tell me in the comments if Hasbro did a huge big reveal announcement months ago that I was just completely finger off the pulse for and I didn't see. So they look kind of cool. actually. They've got the essential characters there. You've got Hank, the Ranger, Diana, Bobby, the Barbarian with Unicorn, Unicorn itself, Dungeon Master, and Venga, the Force of Evil. I was just reading that off a list of names. I wouldn't remember all of those off the top of my head. Don't remember D&D that well, despite having fond memories of it. So this also comes off the back of Hasbro announcing that a lot of their figures are full-on just Hasbro Pulse exclusives now. It used to be in the UK especially, there were lots and lots of retailers, online retailers, who would also be able to sell those Hasbro Pulse exclusives. Now they're really reeling them back in. It's like, no, y'all gotta go through us. And I see that also the NBA starting lineup figures, those are also Pulse exclusives. And it really feels like Hasbro are trying to push out the middleman. And that, it doesn't feel good. I'm not an economist. I can't say that, the computer tells me that the financial experts... No, I don't know. But it just seems grubby. Because, if anything, at least, if you're cutting out the middleman, prices should go down. Sure as heck ain't doing that. It seems like Hasbro just want to keep as much profit as possible. I know, shocking. A company wanting to keep profit? Like, what does the world come to? Why doesn't everyone do things as a philanthropist for free? But you know what I mean? There are limits of good business and just being a bit grubby. You know what I mean? I think you know what I mean. But yeah, make of that what you will. Gang, as a little update to this story, yes, it seems to be official that Hasbro are no longer allowing other retailers to sell their G.I. Joe Classifieds line in the UK. I think in America they do, but in the UK and Europe it is exclusively to Hasbro Pulse, and that sucks, and it's a real shame, and all of us folks are very, very disappointed to hear that. We think that sucks for our online retailers. Comics and Cocktails, Kapow, In Demand. I shouldn't have started listing them because there are so many great retailers who I want to shout out. But just everyone, we deserve the chance to choose where we buy our action figures from. Hasbro Pulse has never been like the best service, and now it's the only service. And a monopoly ain't no good for no one on the consumer side of things. So yeah, that's bad news bears, and another little black eye for Hasbro in the eyes of the consumers. So yeah, more of this as and when we find it out. You'll probably find it out on other channels who know the industry better than me. But then you'll find it out secondhand on Model Behaviour. Over at McFarlane, they have teased with a sort of a preview image, not really a tease, it's a full-on reveal, I guess, their Sam and Twitch figures. But you know what I mean. It's the first promo picture they show before they show all the other ones. And these look... they look like they're melting. They look like claymation figures that have been left out in the sun too long. But that's also the characters. I mean, they're not good-looking guys, Sam and Twitch. That's the whole point. They're hard-boiled, grizzled detectives. But they just, if you're a Spawn fan, I guess that's totally going to be for you. It's kind of funny, though, that Tom McFarlane, he says, we don't make many female figures because kids don't want female figures. But we'll make obese, chain-smoking detectives. Those are big sellers. Which is funny because you can say, yeah, but those aren't designed for kids. But surely the same people who want hardcore deep-cut Spawn characters, they are also the same people who want classic DC characters too. The Venn diagram is pretty much a circle. So that kind of surprises me. But if you're a Spawn fan, you're a Sam and Twitch fan, I'm sure they're going to reveal more information soon. Don't even know. I assume it's a 2-pack. It says, yeah, 2-pack teaser. There you go. I could answer that question by just reading what I wrote down in my notes. So we'll get a full reveal coming up very, very soon, I'm sure. In the meantime, there you go. Tamashii Nations are going all out with their Book of Boba Fett Star Wars Realization Daimo Boba Fett figure. I was just reading that off there to make sure I got everything right, and I still didn't pronounce Daimo correctly. But it's a tricky word. Lots of consonants and letters and stuff in there. Looks beautiful though, doesn't it? Take it all in. It's such a shame that it has that Book of Boba Fett stink on it, because as an actual figure, it looks stunning. I love that mashup, the Edo period Japanese smooshed in with the Star Wars aesthetic, which in itself borrows from so many different cultures and eras and designs and ideas. It's just So cool. I would be tempted if I saw it in store and I was feeling a little flush. I could be tempted, but I haven't bought any of those sort of mashup figures because I just know that it's the most slippery of the slippery slopes. I was at a Comic-Con a few months ago and I saw someone selling a couple of them and I was like, maybe I could just get the Darth Maul one. And then my brain went, no, Dave. There's no such thing as maybe I'll just get. I was like, you know what? You're right. Walk away. But this Boba Fett, he's super pretty. No price revealed for him yet, but I'm sure he ain't gonna be cheap. This is a weird, fun, quirky one. Nendroid, who do their super chibi deformed type characters, they're going to Dark Souls 3 and we're getting a Sigmir of Katarina figure. Now, I haven't played Dark Souls. Actually, no, I played a little bit of Dark Souls 3. And I was like, no, this is too tough. This ain't fun. But this figure actually just like tweaks my fun kind of bone a little bit. You know me, I like funky, weird, odd little things, and this dude looks adorable. I really dig it. So apparently this character is, he doesn't look as chibi as this figure does, but he is kind of comic relief in Dark Souls 3, a game that is bereft mostly of any kind of comedic lightening. So he's quite a welcome sight to see, known as the Onion Knight because of his oniony looking armor. This thing, it just looks super cute. I could throw him in with my sort of medieval monsters type kind of display that I've got over there. I would be tempted. He's $60 though, so not that tempted. Not unless I saw him massively reduced. But just as a fun, quirky, cool little figure, I really dig the look of him. Now, Beast Kingdom have shown some really nice looking figures that they announced a while ago, and they're just updating us with more pictures and information, giving us a better taste for it. Big two. The first of all, we got Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean, a creature design that is just so beautiful. Got the whole Cthulhu tentacles going on there and the crab claws, and I dig it. I really dig it. And it's amazing going back and watching that CGI today, like that still holds up beautifully. Better than most things on Disney Plus. I appreciate there are different budgets and lead times with that CGI, but still, it's incredible. I actually love the visual aesthetic of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. They're a slog to get through, but just visually, I'll put them on in the background sometimes, just because I love that. I think it's really great. And Davy Jones, he looks awesome. So he's going to be retailing for, do I have a price there? I'm sure that I do. I think it's $134. I'll triple check that one. But yeah, available via Beast Kingdom. He looks really cool. Also, Beast Kingdom are doing the 1989 Batman, Michael Keaton Batman. So all you folks with your Mezco pre-orders, maybe just throw in the towel. I love Mezco. Mezco are my favorite line. They're my favorite brand to get. I'm looking at my Mezco Wolverine right now. Golly, you're pretty. But they suck with their pre-orders. My God, seriously. How long have people been waiting for that Batman 89? It's a running joke. And they're not giving useful updates. So you know what? If you can cancel your pre-order and go and get this one instead, do it. All right, just you earned this, okay? But yeah, that's just. I'm sorry, but you gotta play fair with consumers. Even if I don't mind waiting, but just have a better line of communication. That's all I'm saying. I don't mind sitting back, paying my money, and just like, okay, give it to me when you're ready, but just like explain when and justify why and all this kind of thing. It would go a long way. That's my TED Talk. So yeah, Batman looks really good as well, and there you go. Super 7 have revealed more of their The Worst figures, and I really like this as a brand. I don't pick up like the small figures, it's not my forte, but I really dig this sub-line, this idea of just create your own villains, basically. I really love the creativity and what goes into these figures. It's just a shame that they're not done in an aesthetic that I would want to buy into. Or maybe it's a good thing, because then that saves me a lot of money. So we're getting these new The Worst figures. We've got they're from a branch called the Acid Rain group, Acid Rain World. And it's Cortex Commander, Cortex Infantry, and Cortex Flame Trooper. And they're available to pre-order at super7.com. I love the designs. They're really cool. If they were just like 6-inch scale and maybe, tarted up a little bit more, then I would be all in. But fortunately they're not, so I can save my money. Something I forgot to mention on Good News yesterday, but I mentioned in the News Bite small one. What I'm going to do with the bite-sized news, I think I might put that on a separate channel so that this channel doesn't get overloaded. So that's something else I'm looking into. But more of that later, probably. I got so many irons in the fire. Hardest working guy on YouTube here. Shame that it doesn't actually, affect quality, but just, I'm working hard. The output is dubious, but, you get what you get. Kid Flash from McFarlane DC. That's what I was getting to. A classic Kid Flash. They recently revealed their Speed Metal Kid Flash, who, if you like that story and you want to collect that line, great. But if you just want classic versions, then very often with McFarlane, you're out of luck. I get that. So it's nice to see a classic Kid Flash who you can pick up in November, $19.99 as usual. God bless McFarlane with your pricing. Gotta love that. Also, in the last episode, I said one thing Hasbro has over McFarlane is that they go so much deeper with their characters. And a lot of people did say, well, McFarlane have only had the license for a couple of years. Hasbro had the license for 20 years. And I'm like, yeah, but, come back to me in 20 years' time. We'll see. Yeah. Until then, shut up. Nah, I'm kidding. You know I love. Now, if you're anything like me, you often have £15,000 just lying around that you don't know what to spend on. Don't worry, Beast Kingdom have you covered with their life-size, 1-to-1 scale, black and gold Iron Man. Black and gold, black and gold, black and gold. Who sang that? That was a banger from summer a few years ago. Probably more years ago than I realised. I'm getting older. But this, look at him. He's beautiful. And of all the things to spend £15,000 on, how about a movie replica suit that didn't actually appear in the movie? Because this is the Iron Man nanotech suit, which I was never a big fan of. Never liked the suit that was so skin tight. Tony would be like, it feels like I'm wearing nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Stupid sexy Tony. So look at it. I just wanted to show it to you. If you can afford it, let me know. Maybe get a Patreon sponsorship while you're at it. It's only a couple of bucks a month. You can afford it. You just spent £15,000 on an Iron Man costume. Sorry. So yeah, I just wanted to show it. It's cool. Beast Kingdom, man, they'll make anything. And I gotta say, the black and gold combination, it does look cool on Iron Man. Just not a fan of the nanotech. Over in video game news now, Cyberpunk is actually having kind of a resurgence. One of the most maligned launch games of all time was CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk. Was it 2077? I think so. Numbers are hard. But this game, so hyped up from the creators of The Witcher, and then it launches and it is a buggy, broken mess with non-stop tales of creator crunch and bad working environments and ultimately just a below average game. So that was the story. And now, a year and a half later, or however long it's been, they just announced that they are hitting consistently 1 million online players per day. That is one hell of a turnaround. So fair play to them on that. Cyberpunk is becoming a bankable brand once again after being so snake-bit at the start. I haven't played it yet because I don't have a PS5, and that's the big caveat that is still the case is if you're not playing it on a next-gen console, you ain't playing it. I'm not going to try and make my PS4 chug along with that game. But people who are into it are really starting to enjoy it now. Not only that, Cyberpunk Edge Runner, the anime series on Netflix, I've been getting into that and it's really good. And I've been watching a few reviews and everyone pretty much agrees that this anime is really excellent. Like the visual style is just popping and beautiful. It's not grim, grimy, like intricate sort of Ghost in the Shell style, but it's bright, hyper stylized, bombastic, and I am digging that. It's a real just feature shock to the senses, and I thoroughly enjoy it. And also, of course, it's based on characters established in Cyberpunk, which I haven't played, but it doesn't matter because just the story It's really, really intriguing. So I'm thoroughly enjoying getting into that. Maybe when I finish that series, I'll be a couple of days closer to one day owning a PS5, and then maybe I can get that Cyberpunk experience. But it's really cool just to see this game go from an absolute dirty dog to kind of a sweet-smelling rose. So kudos to everyone involved in turning that around. Nice little success story. Movie news, and this is a story that's been doing the rounds, and I don't sort of see that it's much of a story, but I'm going to report on it anyway, because it's just fun to chat about these things sometimes as well. The producers of the James Bond franchise are stating that the new Bond who they're going to cast, they intend to cast for at least 10 years worth of Bond films. That's like a story, but in no way do I think it's a particularly relevant story. I'm going to talk about it anyway, because I like talking about Bond. I'm a fan of the James Bond franchise, of course. But of course you're going to cast someone for 10 years. That's the whole point. You want someone who you can build a new franchise around. The ratio isn't great for that, but the two good films we got, they were bangers. Hopefully more of those to come. Andor is out on Disney Plus, and it's really quite good, actually. I was so pleasantly surprised. Not entirely surprised, though, because I thought it might be good. The trailers brought up some hope in my heart, and we needed a new hope. No pun intended. I couldn't even get through the end of Obi-Wan, and that was like where I thought, you know what, I'm done. But this seemed like it had potential, so I gave it a try, and I'm so glad I did. This is very, very different from all the other Star Wars output. It's a bit more grown up. It's not like dark and mature, but it just feels like people have made it who want to just slow down, take your time, build things up. It's a slow burn. I feel like maybe Disney or the Star Wars writers for other projects felt like, no, our audience is stupid. They can't concentrate on anything for more than 10 seconds. We just have to make this into a theme park ride. But they failed. They were bad theme park rides. Anywho, this was really, really good, is what I'm saying. Wasn't great, but I am very interested to see where it goes. They build up the characters slowly. They let the story kind of speak for itself. They're not just relying on member berries the whole way through. You don't just see every scene with like,
ooh, remember Stormtroopers? Ooh, remember X-Wings? Ooh, I remember X-Wings.
No, they actually have some substance to what's going on. The heels, the antagonists. Dude, the Empire, I think, has never felt more kind of oppressive. It really has that kind of World War II kind of feeling to it, where you've got these rebels. The rebels feel like rebels. That's what's really nice. The Empire just feels this all-looming kind of specter that just kind of controls everything, and I'm digging it. Also, just the cinematography, the way it's shot, the colors, children. It feels more real. It feels more in line with A New Hope. That's so well done. I feel like it's a completely separate creative team that made this from the other Star Wars, dare I say, dreck. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm calling it. Even Mandalorian, like, I'm not a fan. But this, I think they've really made a step in the right direction. More of this, please, Disney. More of this. Going for something fun and lighthearted now, the much anticipated Hocus Pocus 2 has had some character posters revealed, and just thought I'd show them here because they look kind of fun. It's amazing what a little bit of makeup, clean living, and CGI will do to make these actresses look like they did, 30 years ago. That's not throwing shade at the actresses, it's like just you're a human being who is 30 years older than you were when you made this film originally, but from the posters at least, it looks like barely a day has passed. That's very impressive. I need to talk to those people. Maybe they can do something about this and these and then the rest of this. Help me out, Disney. You know, it was John Lennon who said, "Life is what happens when you're making other plans." And in my case, life is what happens when you're recording other videos. So this is all a new day with a new t-shirt, but the same old news. This t-shirt, by the way, is available at teespring.com. Check the link in the description below. But now, back to the news, a day late and a buck short. We have more information on the Netflix Power Rangers TV show and movie and 30th anniversary. This is coming the way of the Illuminati. website. They say, this new Netflix reboot, the movie and the TV show, will be more mature to appeal to the original fans of the franchise from the early 90s. The Netflix reboots are expected to follow on the heels of the hotly anticipated 30th anniversary of the franchise in 2023. In May, it was reported that Hasbro had asked all the remaining members of 1993's original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers television series to return for the milestone occasion. So far, it is not clear which, if any, of the original cast members have signed on to return to reprise their original roles or take on new ones. So this will be kind of a fun Happy Days reunion sort of experience if we see the original Power Rangers back. What's kind of interesting though is that there's lots of reports from the original cast that it wasn't exactly sunshine and rainbows. I know that there were reports about the dude who played Billy, the Blue Ranger, getting bullied for his sexuality, and there were often reports that basically the cast got paid peanuts because the production company said hey, the Power Rangers are famous, you guys aren't, so we can put anyone in those costumes, and they did, to be fair. But it's going to be interesting to see if they come back for a payday, because hey, I know I would. It beats doing the convention rounds, which I'm sure they'll be doing as well. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love to make a career out of doing convention rounds. That would be the bomb. Cast me in one episode of Doctor Who, and I'd be set for life. So yeah, this Netflix Power Rangers 30th anniversary thing is building up momentum, and I'm excited to see where it goes. Did you know that there is actually an annual award ceremony for licensing? Nope. Me either, but there is one, and the Doctor Who Fracture in Time Live Experience won Best Licensed Live Experience Award. These things are very specific. So I wanted to cover this because I freaking love immersive interactive events. It's what I used to do as an actor for so many years, and I love attending it as a punter as well. And I haven't been to the Fracture in Time thing. I'm not a big Doctor Who guy, but looking at some of this footage, it looks like a really good time. So if you get the chance to see anything like this, I would say 100% go for it. The only times that I think it's a bit of a shame with the live experiences is things like Halloween Horror Nights at theme parks, where the setups are so cool, but there's so many people, it kind of loses the atmosphere, you know what I mean? But with some of these live experiences, I think like the Doctor Who one, it's all ticketed, you have a certain number in your group, and you get the full experience. In the early 90s, we had Alien War at the Trocadero in London. It was like Sega World, and it was the Aliens experience, and you went through with these colonial marines. It was like the coolest thing to do as a kid in the 90s, in your shell suit and Reeboks, and man, what a time to be alive. But yeah, Doctor Who won Best Licensed Experience, and hey, that's kind of cool. Comic book news. The Carnage series ongoing at the moment was one that I was keeping my eye on because I was intrigued. How do you make a comic book series about the most evil psychotic serial killer in the world? And Marvel kind of done it, actually. They haven't made him the protagonist, but they have made him the person you follow. It's kind of like doing Jaws from the perspective of the shark, but there's all these other elements going on around it. Actually, that's not fair. Sharks are wonderful, peaceful creatures. Carnage, less so. But this is cool. Carnage is basically, Cletus Cassidy is out of the picture, mostly. The Carnage symbiote has found a new host in this serial killer dude, and he's trying, or the symbiote, it's the symbiote in the driving seat, is trying to just become more powerful, going down to hell and dealing with Hela and demons and all this kind of occult type power. It's a really wicked story, and it's a great evolution of the character, because I was a big Carnage fan in the 90s, but also, what are you going to do with that character? You can only have this kind of serial killer slasher for so long before it does get played out. And I think that Absolute Carnage was a great sort of zenith for the character, and now going into this direction, which is almost like sword and sorcery, but with black humor and really dark, nasty, gruesome concepts. It's wicked. In this most recent issue, this demon beast that Hela sent. So we're getting Norse mythology in here as well with Thor's cast of characters. She sent this character, and Carnage had a run-in with him and basically sort of shared all of Carnage's history and knowledge with this creature, which drove it insane, and also revealed like a flash forward that Carnage would actually be so powerful he would destroy, what's the name of the dwarves' home? Nevervidila? Vidala? You know the place. I'm not going to look it up. I thought I'd let you see me struggle. But yeah, I recommend the new Carnage series. I think it's a really fun, bizarre, twisted, kind of cool time. Did you know Harley Quinn is celebrating her 31st birthday today? Speaking of being old. Oh my goodness. I remember when she was first debuted on the Batman cartoon all those years ago, and now she's all grown up, and DC are celebrating in style with a whole new creative push for her books, new teams, new artists, new writers. It's a new beginning for Harley Quinn, and DC are going all out. Let me read you a little extract from, I think it was Bleeding Cool News. So Rich Johnston writes, Excalibur and Catwoman writer Teenie Howard and Captain Marvel artist Sweeney Boo, pair of awesome names there, are the new planned creative team for the DC Comics ongoing series Harley Quinn from March 2023 with Harley Quinn 28. This will follow February's Harley Quinn 27 by the current team of Stephanie Phillips and Matteo Lolli. Kudos to DC for hiring people with awesome names. At least I could pronounce those, because to be honest, when I was trying to do the NBA starting lineup, state of my pronunciations, mate. At least I tried. But still, happy birthday to Harley Quinn. Ghost Rider is making big waves in the action figure community at the moment, and he's not doing too badly in the comics as well. Marvel are pretty good with their whole synergy kind of thing, and he has a new ongoing series, and this has been getting some decent reviews. Ghost Rider, Vengeance Forever. Issue 1 was covered by Bleeding Cool News. They gave it a 6 out of 10, which might not sound spectacular, but at the same time they say it's dumb, gory, grindhouse fun, and sometimes that's what you want. So looking at the different pages and the previews and the comic art, I'm like, yeah, this is a series I could get into. They've got this new character, Necro the Tattooist, who uses his tattoo ink to give predictions of the future and all sorts of nasty, gnarly stuff. I'm kind of down for this. We're approaching October, Halloween. I'm getting into a horror kind of vibe. Ghost Rider, he's kind of the hot topic of the month, no pun intended. I think I might have to check this comic out. An interesting little tidbit of side story type news, nothing too earth-shattering, but I thought you'd kind of like it. Wolverine is the first person to admit that he is in fact not the best there is at what he does. We're so used to that catchphrase ever since Wolverine was introduced. You know how it goes.
I'm the best there is at what I do, bub, and what I do isn't very nice.
Well, now you have to wonder what that is exactly, because it's clearly not killing, because he actually admitted recently that there's someone better than him at it. So this story covers some spoilers for AXE Judgment Day issue number 5. Alright, so if you're reading that series at the moment, you don't want to know this little scene here, skip forward now. But do keep watching, there's some good stuff. Honestly, I promise. So Liam McGuire over at Screen Rant writes, while Wolverine is one of the most proficient killers in the Marvel Universe, the clawed hero just admitted there's someone else who is better at it than him. Jack of Knives. As the surviving X-Men and Eternals plan their next attack on the Celestial who's wreaking havoc on Earth, Wolverine comes to realize that the deadly Eternal Assassin is better equipped to attack and infiltrate the space god than he ever was. So that's just a fun little panel, little tidbit of interest. I think it was Nightcrawler who says, like, Wolverine, you gotta go do the thing that you do best. And he's like, nah, actually in this case, I don't do it best. But I can appreciate under these circumstances it might make sense, where this Jack of Knives dude is kind of a stealth assassin kind of guy, and Wolverine is more of a blunt instrument. So under these circumstances, I guess Jack of Knives was the best there is at what he does. But sticking with Wolverine, maybe what he actually does do best is web swinging. At least it looks that way if you play the Spider-Man game mod with Wolverine as a skin. I just thought I'd throw this in, it's a fun little bit of nonsense, and who doesn't like that on this channel? So the wonderful, brilliant PC modders out there, they've been doing all types of different skins and things that you can do. They've modded Kingpin as a playable character, all that stuff, but now you can see what it would be like to play as Wolverine and maybe get a little feel for what next year's Wolverine game is going to be like. Is it next year, or are we going to have to wait longer? It feels like they announced it about 6 months ago, and we've heard, well, more than that. They announced it a long time ago, and we ain't seen nothing besides that initial trailer. Regardless, it does look a little bit odd seeing Wolverine firing webs at people, but besides that, just seeing the old knucklehead run through the streets and just slash people with his claws, yeah, I'm getting a little antsy to play a Wolverine game now. So yeah, this is kind of non-news, but also I thought it's kind of fun. Plus, everyone tells me that you just listen to this while you're doing other stuff. This is just background noise, isn't it? It's like when they have things like NCIS that retired folks just put on at the homes, and it's like, you watching your stories? They good? All right, Grammy Gram, it's time for your Jell-O pudding. That's what model behavior is. And I'm fine with that. And finally, have you ever wanted to experience what it's like to spend the night in IKEA? Well, the store is closed. Might just answer that question for you. This looks like a lot of fun. An indie horror game, currently going through the stages of Kickstarter, imagines what it would be like to be trapped inside the labyrinthine bowels of an IKEA, a legally distinct non-IKEA store. It's IKEA. So much so that all of the signing and all the graphics are all completely in that IKEA style. You can go to the food court where you can get the IKEA meatballs and you can, gain health from doing that. You have to barricade yourself in the warehouse as the mutant staff come to attack you. It looks like a lot of fun. I'm just seeing this trailer now, so I'm still learning about it, but chances are it's just going to be a PC Steam thing. I don't think it's going to find its way to Switch, but it might do. And if it does, I'll probably play the heck out of it because I love my trips to IKEA. And if you can play a horror nightmarish version of that experience, yeah, I'm going to be down to clown. And folks, that does it for Good News for today. And we're running a little behind on the news now, so already there's more stuff breaking. That Mech Leonardo, amazing. We'll talk about him tomorrow. The fact the HasLab has failed to get the early bird Robbie Reyes figure. Yeah, we'll talk about that and a whole bunch of other stuff. I was tempted to add that to this video, but it's already going to be massive, so that's to come tomorrow. All right, just cool your britches. Watch this one in the meantime, all right? Gang, thank you so much for watching. If you want to support the channel, you can do over at patreon.com/displaying-model-behaviour. Toss a couple of bucks my way. You can watch all the exclusive videos on there. You can join the call-in shows when we do the call-in episodes. And you can be part of the conversation by joining the Model Behavior Patreon Discord as well. You can send me direct messages on there and I can include them in the shows. It's a good little community going on. Gang, thank you so much for that. Enough shilling. Man, if I never hear the word shilling again, it will be too soon. But in this case, I am a shill, but I'm only a shill for myself. Gang, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, keep displaying model behavior.